Good morning everybody, and this is your DAX trade setups for today. So nothing really materialized. We did sort of get moving to the downside and then pulled back. You can see big move to the downside and then 2-bar pullback. And we sort of, I won't say we're in a decent area of resistance. In actual fact, we're just going to round that off to that. So save us a lot of pain. So that is a level that I'd be waiting for on the 8-hour. Look, we're below all the moving averages. We've had a crossover of the faster moving averages. The 155 EMA still need to be tested. So I would be reluctant jumping in short here at the moment. I'm looking for something a little bit higher up. And we are in a zone of chaos. So I'm not going to get an exact level, but you can see all these tails in between these two levels I've drawn in now. And you would expect something to happen in that area. So looking at the 3-hour, and you can see, we've sort of moved down, tested this level, broke through, and then we just went sideways. There is a bit of a pin bar here off this level, but the next 2 bars have closed above it, so that's null and void. You're looking for either this area up here. Remember, we always want 3 levels in. So those are the 3 levels. And if you just go left, you'll see it lines up perfectly with the previous chaos. If you look especially back here and here, when was this? 19th of April. Okay, so yeah, that's the zone to be paying attention to. So what could be forming here is some sort of a flag, meander up into this zone and then drop. The only concern I've got is if you start putting trend lines in, you see these trend lines are breaking. So take it with a pinch of salt right now. We do have non-farm payrolls today, which could impact us. And I don't think there's much more data, but there is still quite a bit of earnings to come through. So yeah, you can see here's the trend line on the 8-hour. What I'm talking about, if you draw a line along here, you can see that trend line is broken and been retested. Does look like a flag though. Look at the oscillators easing up. So I'm still, the trend is down at the moment, so it is down until it's not. It's really only going to switch once we get above 1600. So I would expect a test of 1600. Let's see what happens. If it's a rejection, then you have some opportunities to the downside. Bear in mind non-farm payrolls in the US later this afternoon, and the S&P is looking like a rounding bottom on the 15 minutes. So, but that's typical of data. It's sort of it looks like you've got the right position, and you're going to go with the trend. So you get in early because the setup looks perfect, but then non-farm comes out and just destroys that setup completely. So I always look at it as a trap. But then again, it often goes the other way as well. So kind of a 50-50 coin cost situation with non-farm payrolls. The noise is sometimes louder than the structure. But what you do find is structure further away from price, which gets tested. Anyway, so for now, you can see we've got going, but no real break and retest for us to get in. It just fell like a stone. Then we kind of went sideways and then reclaimed a bit of its loss. And then just went sideways. So these levels are the ones I'd be paying attention to. And for as long as we're sitting on moving averages like this, I'm not interested in it. And this is on the 15 minute. So could get a rejection higher, which I will look at, but definitely not looking to jump into a position when price is doing this. Okay, so my advice right now is wait for the levels. This level needs to be fine-tuned. There we go. First one is 15956. Second one is 15973. And the third one is 1600 dead. So that's what I'd be waiting to see what happens. See if we get a test there. This level here that we're at, which is 15921, if we do drop below it and then come back and reject it during the trading session, that could be a fairly interesting scenario because you're going to have a fairly tight stop loss here, 25, let's just say 50 point stop loss. You put it above these swing highs, for a move to the downside. And there is some merit in saying this is the leg down, which was yesterday. That's the pullback onto some structure. So there is my measured move. And if I go across to the 8 hour, you'll see that lines up with all of the structure to the downside. So that would be my target for a short, which would be 15,721. But just pay attention to what's happening. I'd be reluctant just to jump in. One confirmation that it is moving before you jump in. Okay, so a retest of 1600 or any of these levels, or a break of this level that we're at and a retest is going to trigger that for me. And the last bit of logic for you here is that is the flag, the bottom of the flag. Okay, no, it's not there. It's there. That's the bottom of the flag. First two fractals. There we go. Okay, so if you drop below this retest, that's your trigger. Hope that helps, and we will catch up with you on Monday morning. Cheers for now.